hurt, man.
Say the middles. I'm recording, man.
Get everything. I'm asleep.
This bitch going through some pain.
Mom, I'm asleep.
She can't feel it. Nah.
What did it say?
Hey, what if your blood pressure just said 800?
Woohoo! Record that. Get that. This something pressure 91, diastolic pressure 61. What's this one? Pulse rate 98. Keep it 300. And it's off the damn bar.